Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We got a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
The Texas Rangers win the World Series.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off sale.
This is a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
Hello, it's Mike Rhyner of Your Dark Companion here. And today, we've got somebody in the studio with us that we think you need to hear from. Now, you've heard us talk about CBD House of Healing on the podcast. They are one of our many sponsors. They are our best sponsor, though.
Thank you.
And today, because there is, you hear people talk about CBD and CBD emporiums and stuff like that, and the message can get garbled up pretty quickly. Some people think they're good. Some people think they're houses, they're dens of iniquity. And today, we thought we would set the record straight. Now, CBD House of Healing is, like I say, one of our sponsors. And with us here is the proprietress of CBD House of Healing, the great Summer Hanson.
Wow, thank you guys. Feel very grateful to be here. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Well, we feel very grateful to have you on board with what we're doing here with this thing. And we want to learn a little bit more about what it is you guys do over there, about the whole CBD enterprise, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there, as I'm sure you know.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to get into some of that with you. Now, there probably is a pretty strong element of education for somebody who comes into your store. And I'm sure you get a lot of people who just wander in there on a whim,
That's
They're
right.
in there for the first time. They're not sure what they're looking for. They're just looking around.
Yes.
Maybe they see something that intrigues them and they start talking to you. Well, I've heard about this CBD, but I don't know too much about it. Mm-hmm. Where's your jumping off point in a conversation like that?
Okay, great question. So somebody new to my store who has never used CBD, maybe their adult child recommended it to them because they're experiencing the symptoms of aging that we all go through. Maybe it's for sleep, and they're looking for an alternative to pharmaceuticals. So I kind of meet them where they are. I want to know what they've tried. Have they, if we've already established they've never used CBD, then what have they tried? Was it over the counter? Was it pharmaceutical? What was their experience like? We're asking a lot of questions to really understand where our customers are when they come to us, what their real need is, what their pain points are, so that we can give them the best advice.
Now, you didn't just fall into this by accident. You have a background as a registered nurse.
Yes.
And how does that play into what you tell these people, or what you've learned about this?
I love coming at this industry from the perspective of an RN. I worked in the community in my last job when I was nursing professionally, reintegrating heart failure patients back into their communities who had an implanted device. They were either waiting on a heart transplant or they were using this device to extend their life and improve their quality of life. And so I've seen how...
Can I get one?
Yeah. Do you need one? I hope not.
Not right now. I'm just looking down the road. I'm sorry.
Okay, down the road maybe, but I hope you never need one. Just like I hope you never need a heart transplant. But it was a job where I got to return these patients to wherever small town they came from. They would come to the big cities, to Dallas, and get their, it's a left ventricular assistive device. And then I would go back with them to their communities and educate their physicians and their emergency response teams and their emergency department nurses and staff about what made them different and how to specially care for them. And it was such a gratifying role for me to have that involvement and to give that patient back to their community with an improved quality of life. And that's what we're doing with House of Healing too. People are coming to us looking for alternatives to what they've been doing, whether it's been pharmaceuticals or whether they just have an inclination to use more natural remedies for, the problems that they're experiencing. But they're coming to us because they have an issue, they want to improve their quality of life, and that's where we start.
Now, if I'm going in there for something like that, I'm coming armed with a lot of questions, and I'm coming in there looking for somebody that kind of gets over on me a little bit, and I start thinking, well, now I think I can trust this person.
Yeah.
That's important in what you're doing here,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, you've got to build that trust, and you kind of got to do it quick and on the fly, right?
That's right. Yeah. It starts the second somebody walks in. And so we make our shop very welcoming. It's very different than what you might expect going into a vape shop, a head shop. It's not like that. It's bright and beautiful. It looks like a boutique. People comment all the time that they're, shocked when they open the door at what they see inside. And, we come around the counter and we talk to our customers. We tell them our names and we get their name, and we start there at that human foundation, of just talking to human to human. And we get to know them. And eventually, we know our customers' names. We know their pets' names, their spouses, their jobs, their sleep patterns, their exercise habits. We really get to know our customers. And I love that about us. I love it for our community. I love to, see a customer light up when they come in and we say, "Hey, John, how's it going? How was the travel last week for work or whatever it is." It's just it's wonderful both ways.
So I suppose then that establishing some sort of sense of community and is very important. And I know, repeat customers in any business matter.
Yes.
But you've got to go beyond just them being a customer. There's got to be a real firm sense of community. They know them or they know you know them.
That's
and all
right.
that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, we really get to know our customers. We take time to ask all those questions, the probing questions that help us to understand what they're going through so that we can advise them on what products are best for them. And education is very important. It's a confusing industry. People come in confused about what's legal, how it's legal, how it's going to interact with other medications that they're already taking, if their doctor's going to be okay with this, is it safe to use at work? There's just a ton of questions that we have to advise on, and all those things are really important so that we can get them the right products. I can't give somebody, a THC product for, arthritis pain that they experience during the day when they're at work, or a high dose THC product. I have to know there's a time and a place for kind of all the products. And so we have to figure out what works best for that particular patient's lifestyle.
And you're over there in East Dallas. No better hood than that, right?
I love it. I love our neighborhood. Yeah, I lived there for a long time, and I knew there was something special about it, and moved to the suburbs when my husband and I started our family, but always felt like I was missing out somewhere, and felt really sure that East Dallas would welcome us, and they have, and it's been fantastic.
Is your background as an RN particularly helpful once you move into something like this?
It has been in my experience. I mean, you can do it without it. But for me, it has helped legitimize it for me, for my customers, to say that I'm a registered nurse, I'm a mom, I'm vouching for these products and for this industry, because it's so much more than the stigma that a lot of people have around cannabis in general.
Now, let's say I walk in there and all I know is I hurt. But I don't know anything about what I'm looking at, anything about what I want, anything about what would work for me, what wouldn't, what I need, what I don't need. What do you do with somebody like that?
Well, if it sounds like somebody like that's already open-minded. They're coming to us from a place of maybe desperation, or maybe they've already tried their pharmaceuticals and they're not working, or they're not strong enough, or it's just not vibing with what they're really needing. And so I want to ask what they've tried. I want to ask how effective was it for how long. I want to ask when they're needing to use it. Again, if they're using it during the day while they're at work, then I can't recommend certain products. I'd have to, pivot and do something else. So I'm asking about preferred consumption methods. We've got a variety of those. Do you want something that is edible? Do you want a tincture that you can put under your tongue? Do you want to smoke something? How quickly do you need it to work? Are we looking for acute relief versus, a wellness product that's more like a supplement?
Mm-hmm. Now, you do carry a wide variety of products. Tell us a little bit about what they are and how they differ from each other.
Well, we carry a wide variety of products, but they're very intentional. And so the products that we carry are all formulated by us, or the majority are formulated by us. That allows us to keep very high quality ingredients in there, eliminate the ingredients that aren't necessary or that we don't trust. And then we have a variety of strengths, dosages, concentrations, and forms of a lot of the same products. And so we can put them all into sort of categories, and then there's maybe a lot under the umbrella of that category, and that allows us to get really specific for every single person who comes in the door. So, Becca might need 10 milligrams of Delta 8 to get through some activity, that she's having issues with.
She needs more than that.
Get through the day with Shoopy.
Yeah.
Do I look like I'm in pain?
I was making eye contact with you, Becca, so you got to be the example. Whereas Groups may need 50 milligrams for something. He wants to go hard,
Damn right. I like to party.
And it depends on, are they using it for pain? Are they using it therapeutically? Or are they using it recreationally? We have both, types of consumers.
Now, you also offer mushroom gummies?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, I do. Your
All right.
eyes are getting a little twirly over there. Like,
I got to tell you, I heard a little bit myself, and I found that stuff that I've gotten from your place does seem to assist it.
That's
it
great.
does.
That's great.
So what about mushroom gummies?
Yeah.
What can you tell us about them and what their effect?
Yeah, so mushroom gummies are one of our wellness products. These are not psychedelic mushrooms. They are wellness mushrooms. We've got two different options of those, a daytime and a nighttime option. And Becca actually uses our daytime option, I believe. Do you use both?
I do. Just the daytime.
Just the daytime. Yeah. Everybody in my shop uses the daytime gummies. They are formulated with lion's mane. That's one of the mushrooms in there. Cordyceps is another one of the mushrooms. They have ashwagandha, which is a natural anti-anxiety. What else is in our morning mushroom gummies? But
Something for energy. I know that.
Yes, B12. There we go. Thank you. And I'm gonna ask Becca about her experience, because I love to hear every person's kind of feedback about what they're doing for them. But they're neuroprotective. They help you kind of stay focused during the day. Becca, what's your experience?
Yeah, my experience has been really great. When I first saw that you carried them, and I can't remember for sure. I think it was Kat that assisted me that day, and she, as you train all of your folks, and they're all very knowledgeable, and she was able to explain to me the different things, how it would help me with the energy.
Yes.
The lion's mane, I think, actually, because it does also assist memory, and I think it has made a difference in that retention a little longer than I had there for a while.
You can stay focused a little bit longer.
Yes, that focus helps me actually take in the information so that I do recall it later when I need it. I do suffer from bipolar, and so one of the things you mentioned was interactions with medications, and she was very careful to ask me a lot of questions about any other medication I took.
Fantastic.
Because of any possible side effects and results.
Yeah.
And that made me feel better about trying them. But yeah, the focus is better. My energy is better. And I just don't have the leveling of anxiety. I still have moments when I feel like there's a million things rushing through my head, but I feel more in control of, I'm just having a lot of thoughts and less, oh God, how am I going to handle all of this?
Awesome.
I don't have the physical reaction.
Oh my gosh,
of confusion. So.
That's great.
Boy, now this sounds like something I need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody needs
I'll
some
take it
mushroom
too.
gummies.
Now, another aspect of this is that, as one might assume, given the history that we've had of this sort of thing, and especially the history here in the great state of Texas, not everybody's on board with this.
Yep.
And there's a good bit of blowback extending your way. There are a couple of bills in the House, right?
That's right.
That if they get passed and get put into effect, that probably could change the way you do business.
It would be devastating to our industry. Yep, to the industry of hemp in Texas, and it would affect tens of thousands of jobs. There's about 50,000 jobs that the industry provides right now. Billions of dollars in just stimulating the economy, millions in tax revenue. It would be a bad move for those reasons alone. But of course, what is my biggest concern is access to safe, legal plant medicine. And that's what we have right now. And it already is regulated. It's federally legal under the Farm Bill of 2018. My business is licensed by the Texas Department of State Health Services, and we are compliant. And the majority of the industry are registered like us and compliant like us with the current regulations. And we have some of the same concerns we share as the legislators, which is to age gate and to make this not marketable to children. Of course, we want those things, but a total ban, I think, is the wrong move.
So regulations are already in place as
Yes,
is.
that's right.
Yet guys in the legislature are looking to just do away with it altogether.
They want to do away with it altogether. And I feel like, it's really unfortunate, and I'm sure there's big money involved somewhere in all of this. But yeah, one of the bills would move our industry to be regulated by the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. It would move it to drinks only. So totally wiping out all the industry that we've built, and just handing it over to big alcohol. It would be really unfortunate.
Do you have any feel for how far along the things going on, with this stuff in the House?
Well,
yes,
Senate Bill 3 has already passed the Senate and is still being reviewed by the House, and then House Bill 28. Those are the two kind of big players right now. And no, they keep it real vague about when things are going to be, when decisions are going to be made on those. They were adjourned until this morning, I believe, and I don't know if it's on their agenda for this week. We usually get a week or so notice, usually less, before they bring those discussions up. But there's been tons of testimony. Anybody can look back at that testimony, hours and hours and hours from both sides, but majority for people, citizens of Texas who want the industry to stay intact, who want to keep safe access to hemp products that have been giving them relief that they're looking for.
What do you tell your clients if they come in there talking about what's going on in the House with this stuff?
I tell them, that they can contact their local representatives. They can reach out to them and just express their concern about the passing of these bills and what it would do to their access to safe legal hemp, to plant medicine, and that if they want their voices to be heard, they have to contact their state representatives. And there's a really easy way to do that. They can go to TexasHempBusinessCouncil.com. I know that's a mouthful. I've already screwed it up a few times this morning. TexasHempBusinessCouncil.com. And there's a form there where you can just input your zip code. It will tell you exactly who your representatives are with all their contact information, so that you can reach out and just tell your story. If you yourself are using a CBD product, if you know someone who's using a CBD product, or if you think in the future you might ever want the choice to use a CBD product as an alternative to recreationally to alcohol or therapeutically to pharmaceuticals, then you need to encourage your representatives to vote no to these two bills.
Now, it's bound to be in your best interest to keep CBD products safe,
yes,
and affordable. What kind of change would you want to see in the way the current legislation is enforced? Do guys come around and take a look at what's going on in your store or anything?
No, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately, and that may sound weird, but I don't think that we have the resources right now to regulate in all the places it needs regulating. I think that they need to limit the places where it is sold. I don't think convenience stores really have any business selling these products. I think it needs to be limited to places where there are ample resources for education, because it is a nuanced product. It is going to work differently for every person. It requires some education because we just, the general public just doesn't have it. They're not informed enough to know. And so having a resource like House of Healing, where there's a nurse as the owner and a highly educated staff, is just so important to find a reputable source. But the things that I would desperately like to see that would eliminate a ton of the problems are an age gate, enforcing that it's only sellable to 21 plus, and then packaging enforcement where the packaging is not attractive to children. There's a lot you've probably seen, like in Colorado and other legal states. You can go in and find Doritos, Skittles, things that look like those brands, that are THC products, and it's very dangerous to have those products, around children. So we certainly don't want any marketing towards children and anything that can be done to prevent that.
How would you change the way the legislation is enforced right now? I mean, if you were the one to do it.
Yeah, we need more bodies. We need more money towards that regulation and enforcement. Even a higher tax on our products would be great, so that they could delegate resources to those agencies to help enforce it.
Yeah, I just want to interrupt real quick, because one of the things that's come up and has started a lot of this new regulation and what they want to do, the House bills, not just new regulation, but the House bills coming about, is, like you said, the convenience stores, the gas stations that are selling this product or buying this product wherever,
right.
Quite frankly, they can get it on Amazon, 10,000 little packets, dirt cheap, and then resell them. And they're not consistent. They don't come from a lab that's being overseen or checked on. And so we end up with some of them actually having the illegal levels of THC, and some of them have none at all and aren't even really helpful. But it's just that kind of what you were saying about removing it from being sold in those places would go a long way.
It would.
Yeah.
It would. Yeah, because you need somebody who's able to advise. And if you're at a 7-Eleven, in line with 10 or 12 other people, you there's no time to say, hey, I'm also taking this pharmaceutical medication and I have a history of bipolar and I, whatever it is, they don't have time to have that consultation. So it's really important to go somewhere that you can have that conversation and get the answers that you're looking for. And if you're not getting that comfort level, that education that you're seeking, then find a different spot.
I can imagine that for some people, working in a place like this is just one big lark, Let's go in there and work at the head shop and let's get high and everything and, all that. Mm-hmm. How do you find good people and how do you verify that? How do you ferret these people out?
I love this question because it was not.
Thank you.
It was not easy in the beginning. We went through a lot of trial and error finding the right people for our mission and who fit our values. And my inspiration evolved over the years too, because my store manager Tracy, he's been there since day one, and he's always had the vision and wherever we're going together and we're going to figure it out. And then hiring people to work that job. Yeah, for a lot of people it seems like, oh great, a head shop job, I can go get high all day, and that's really easy. And so you get a lot of applicants that those are their intentions, and you find out that's not who you want representing your company. And so it is.
Can you pretty much know them when you see them?
I didn't for a couple of years. It took a couple of years of, going through the mud and then getting to the people that I was like, okay, there are these hidden gems out there, these diamonds in the rough that are passionate about the industry, that are passionate about helping people. And that's who we have staffed right now. I mean, I've got former teachers. I've got, Katie is leaving, but she has her Master of Cannabis. I've got Kat, who's coming up and inspired start her master's of cannabis. Tracy has a background in psychology and behavior studies, and I'm my RN. So we're all in the people business, truly motivated by helping people and learning as much as we can about this industry to be a resource to people, to empower people to do their own research and make their own decisions about the products that they're using. But yeah, it's the people have really inspired the business, and it's been great.
Now, I hope you don't take this the wrong way or anything like that, but you don't seem like the type to do something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, take us a little bit through the process of becoming a nurse to winding up where you wound up.
Yes, it's been a little bit of a pivot from where we started. You probably know a little bit about that, right?
A little.
So I did not imagine this would be my career at this point in my life. I did go straight to college out of high school, to nursing school, to getting my RN, to critical care. And then eventually to medical device as a consultant, like I mentioned, returning those LVAD patients back to their communities, and then was a stay-at-home mom. But for a lot of my adult life, I used cannabis recreationally. And I would have told you for back then, why am I using it? Just recreationally, but having the experience that I have now and the just kind of a better understanding of life and hardships and how we self-medicate, I was using it therapeutically. I've used it to get through anxiety, to sleep, to just mood stability, and it has always been something for me that's superior to alcohol. Alcohol has treated me badly many times.
We've all been there.
I know, and it's not fun. It's not fun to experience those side effects of alcohol, and so I have loved it as an alternative to alcohol for myself, and I've just seen it be, like I said, superior in a lot of ways to pharmaceuticals. I was on antidepressants in my 20s and self-weaned off of those, which was very painful. Not physically painful, but it was just an ugly process. It didn't feel good on my body, and I wish I'd never had to go through that. And so I can relate to these customers who are like, I've tried these things, they don't work for me, but I feel like I'm a mom of little kids. I can't use cannabis. And I'm like, yes, you can. You can use cannabis. You can feel good about it. The reason that people feel a certain way is stigma and propaganda that's left over, from way back when.
Yeah.
And I think that we're in a new time where a lot of the younger kids are using less alcohol. They're just drinking less. They're choosing to feel better and to use plants, alternatively to alcohol. And so I really like to share my story because I agree that probably looking at me, people think she's not a pothead, and I'm not. I'm just a cannabis user, and that's okay.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
So how does that morph into where you are now at the House of Healing? How did the House of Healing come around?
Yeah. So one of my best friends from childhood, Brittany, started her brand House of Healing in Abilene in 2019. That was just after the Farm Bill was put into place that legalized hemp federally. And she was an entrepreneur. She opened her business after a personal experience. She'd lost her father, and her husband was experiencing some anxiety. Her mother was experiencing some anxiety. They were looking for alternatives to traditional, like antidepressants and stuff like that, and identified CBD as an industry that was about to, kind of take off. And so they started in really early, and she made it from the beginning the boutique that you see in Dallas and her store in Abilene. And I was just so inspired by that. I had never seen, the weed I was buying was street weed, and you get it from a shady guy, or you go into a vape shop and you get scary stuff that you don't know what it is, and nobody's there to tell you anything about it. You're just guessing and hoping for the best. And so I was just really impressed by her approach to it, and I thought, man, that is beautiful. And how might it work for me to get in on this and share my story of cannabis use from the perspective of, or from the background of having been an RN. And, you know, I just felt like I had an opportunity to change people's perspectives on the plant and the industry. And that Brittany was giving me a really good foundation to jump off of, being, you know, so out of the ordinary for the industry, and such a contrast to the vape shops where you could typically get these things. And so 2 years into her business, I said, let's partner up. I think that we could expand the brand and we could open one of these in Dallas. And she said, I think we're ready, and yes, let's do it. And here we are now.
So I guess at the end of the day, the big message that you have to get out over and over again is this is okay.
Yep.
It's okay for people to go into this place.
That's right.
It's okay for people to use this stuff. There's nothing shady, nothing illegal about it.
Yes.
It's going to be a whole lot better than and a whole lot more satisfying, a whole lot more functional than anything you've ever known along these lines before.
Yep.
Do you find that a tough message to get out?
It's hard. People overcoming years and years of programming about how, you know, it's a gateway drug, it's dangerous. Even still, there's misconceptions, you know, people testifying that it's lethal, which is just not true. You know, what is lethal is the drugs that are laced with fentanyl that people are, you know, ending up with when they're purchasing outside of reputable businesses like mine. Yeah, of course that's dangerous. And my fear is that if this industry shuts down, all the money that people are spending legally supporting these businesses that are on the up and up is going to go to the black market, and that there's going to be more deaths,
right,
you know, as a result.
People are going to get it no matter what.
People are going to get it.
One way or the other.
need is not going away. So
No.
a total ban is definitely not the answer.
Anybody else have anything? Anything else you need? Anything else you want to bring up, Summer?
I don't think so. This has been a great conversation.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right, there she is. That is Summer Hanson with the CBD House of Healing. You can find them on the northeast quadrant of Plano Road and Northwest Highway. If you're ever out that way, just want to drop in, go ahead. Go ahead.
Don't be scared.
No, it's not like going into a porn shop or anything. You'll go in there, you'll find something you like. Summer will most likely be there. If she's not, one of her lieutenants will be there. They can tell you whatever it is you need to know. They can hook you up with whatever you need to be hooked up with. And in the end game, you'll wind up feeling better.
That's right.
Feeling better physically, feeling better mentally, just feeling better. And is that not what it's all about?
That's what it's all about.
And on a hot summer day, you can swing through the drive-thru and get yourself a slushie.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can.
All right. I'm gonna go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.